All right. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Purple Breakdown, a podcast covering the Baltimore Ravens. I am your host, Alex, and I'm so glad to be back with you on another episode. I love making these episodes, and it always brings me a smile of seeing all of you who listen in and comment. So let's jump into it and start talking about the Ravens today. So, some more rumors for the offense are getting spread around today. The biggest news I saw going around about this is that the Ravens have been named as a top landing spot for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was just released from the Dolphins as a free agent as of Monday, and he's now up for free agency, and anyone could take him. This feels like a definite free agent pickup that the Ravens would make if D-Hop doesn't stay around or they don't go in another direction. He's an older wide receiver who has had proven years before. He's been to the Pro Bowl multiple times. Um, he has elite level speed, and the Ravens have had a track record of going after older quarterbacks, not running, wide receivers in the end of their career and trying to inch out the last bit that they can out of him. And I'll be honest, I don't think that's worked out too well for the Ravens. I don't think it's worked out well for OBJ when he was on the Ravens or DeAndre Hopkins. And so I look at this and I know he's turning 32. He's coming off a major leg injury. And when I hear this and think, yeah, it's a very Ravens move to make, I'll be honest, I don't like it. I think the Ravens should stray away from going after an older wide receiver like this who is coming off a massive injury, and who knows how that will affect what makes him the best part of what Tyreek Hill is, which is his speed. And he's getting older, and as you get older, you're going to slow down, you're going to take more wear, and there's no guarantee he's not going to be injury prone from this point going on out, or if he'll be ready for the season fully this next year. And I think this is a trap waiting to happen that the Ravens shouldn't fall into. The Ravens should look elsewhere, and I have expressed interest in George Pickens, and the Ravens have also been linked to A.J. Brown. And if you're wanting to look for an older wide receiver that can make the catches you want him to make, you might as well look at Mike Evans at that point. And Mike Evans, I would argue, is a lot better than Tyreek Hill as of right now. And Mike Evans is a free agent, so that could be a move for the Ravens, and that would also feel like a very Ravens move to make an older wide receiver with proven talent that has made impacts, and I can't diss Mike Evans and what his career has been either. But that's the news right now on the offensive side. The other interesting news is that Dawson Knox has been named as a possible cut candidate for the Bills, and the Ravens are looking towards tight ends right now, especially with Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kolar going into free agency. And there's no guarantee that either of them come back, especially with the feeling that since Mark Andrews got a contract, that it's sort of like feeling that Likely and Kolar won't come back. So the Ravens will be looking at free agency and who to pick up and sign there. And if the Bills cut Dawson Knox, then that could be a target for the Ravens. I've also said there's other targets out there with Njoku. Personally, if the Ravens are wanting to keep going forward, you could sign Likely for what you could get Njoku for if you're going down that route. And I'd like to see at least a discussion happen with Likely and see if he's willing to stay around, even if that means he takes a little bit less money. And I'd like to see him stay. I think the combo between Likely and Mark Andrews has worked very well, and Likely is an up-and-coming, great, stretching the field tight end, and I'd like to see him stay as a Raven. It just may not be affordable with what else wants to happen. But in news to be excited about now, this is going to be a much shorter episode, but in news to be excited about, this last thing we'll talk about, get pumped up for the defense. Anthony Weaver went out and talked today and got interviewed, and for the first time he came out and said, and I am excited for what he has said about the defense. Anthony Weaver is leading the Ravens on a warpath for the defense. He is going to bring the defense back with Jesse Minter. And I understand Jesse Minter is calling the defense, but Anthony Weaver is going to be the one to connect with these players, help coach them up, and get every single inch out of them that he can, along with the rest of the coaching staff under him. And he's going to help be there to support Jesse Minter. And both these guys have connections with the Ravens. Anthony Weaver played for the Ravens and has been a coach there. And so they have these connections, and Anthony Weaver is that older guy who knows the players well, knows how to connect with them, and is going to get as much out of them. And when he came out in this interview today, I'm just going to quote him straight up. Anthony Weaver said, per quote, "I want our guys, when they finish the game, to give 60 minutes of hell. When you play us, you're going to know you left a fight. We're going to try and hit everything, fly around, play connected, play together, and just do all we can to make sure that you play a game that was 60 minutes of hell." I emphasize this so much that I love hearing this, because this is what the Ravens are known for playing bully ball defense that is tough, hits hard, and makes you reel back. And I want to see that return, and hearing Anthony Weaver say this brings me so much joy, because that's what needs to be brought back. He's talking about the accountability and the aggressiveness. And that's what I want to see in the defense. And Anthony Weaver can be the guy to help make sure this goes forward and holding these players accountable. He came to the Ravens for a reason. He passed up on possible coaching jobs for a reason to come back and coach for the Ravens. I'm so excited to hear him saying this and know that he's ready to go forward with this team and work with the talent that is there and what they can bring in and play so that teams have to live through 60 minutes of hell when they play the Ravens. I love hearing that. That's the up news of the day, the good news of the day. And with how Jesse Minter operates his defense and how it's similar to Mike Macdonald's, playing 60 minutes of hell and operating in that way, if the Ravens truly turn that defense around, it will be a top-tier defense in the league that can give the offense its opportunities to go on and win. And I'm so excited that the Ravens have hired who they've hired. I went into this yesterday and days before of how well they have hired and created a coaching staff. And I'm excited to see in what directions they go going forward. Now, I know this has been a shorter of an episode. There wasn't as much news coming out today, but I just wanted to get out and I wanted to say, because I'm fired up about what Anthony Weaver has said, and I can't wait to see how it goes going forward. I hope everyone has enjoyed this little news update and the ideas coming out of it. I'd love to hear going forward what you guys think the Ravens should do with wide receiver, because the Ravens either pick up somebody on free agency or trade for A.J. Brown, or you're going and drafting a higher up end wide receiver in the draft. And I think regardless, they're going to draft a wide receiver, but question would be who and where based off who you get in free agency. And so I'd like to hear all of your guys' thoughts and opinions. Who do you want to see brought in as wide receiver? I've said who I want to see brought in as wide receiver, but I want to hear who you guys have and want to see brought in at wide receiver, because Lamar needs an extra weapon. The Ravens offense needs an extra weapon out there. And so I'd like to hear who you think would be the best fit to be brought in. So I'd like to thank everyone for hopping in and listening to the podcast. I know it's a shorter one, but I'm not going to take up much of your time today. If you are not subscribed and enjoy the content, please like the video, subscribe, comment. It makes my day. I'm going to keep emphasizing it makes my day when you guys comment, not only for the YouTube algorithm, but because I just like hearing from you guys. It really makes me smile. And I love talking Ravens. So if you're on Spotify, please follow, like, leave a review, leave a comment. I want to thank all of you so much for joining in and listening to the podcast, and I can't wait to make the next one. Thank you so much. See you all next time.